The Rainbow Connection is such a great song. We can't help but sing along with it. We're invited to join the lovers, the dreamers, and me. We're part of it. We're part of that connection, that divine connection in this shared experience of pursuing our dreams and finding joy in the possibilities of life. And in that, we are called to cast away the consciousness of exclusion and celebrate unity, diversity, and unique expression. It might be a letter from our better angels. See, this song, The Rainbow Connection, it appears in the beginning of the Muppet movie, which was actually done in 1979. And it has such wide appeal. Did you know that lots of famous singers have covered this song on their various albums, including Willie Nelson, Barbra Streisand, the Dixie Chicks? And this song draws me in. And the little known fact that I ran across while researching the song, I found out the song was written especially for Kermit for that movie by Paul Williams and Kenny Archer. Now, here's the thing that blew me away. In an interview with Paul Williams, this was 40 years after the movie was first out, he said this. He said, if there's a philosophy in the film, it's in that song. And it's expressed again at the end. Life's like a movie. Keep believing, keep pretending. Now, that's good advice. But he goes on. It solidifies that connection to the audience. Here's the part that I want you to listen to very carefully. He said, I am a member of the Church of Religious Science, not Scientology, but the science of mind. It basically says that everyone is empowered by love. Our thoughts, what we dwell on and create, we build our own futures with our thoughts. If you keep thinking that you're not going to get that job, then that becomes sort of a prayer. So I just keep expecting the best and things keep happening. That song is a perfect example. Now, that stopped me in my tracks. I have always loved the song, but I had no idea. I was in tears to think that Kermit was a religious scientist. Oh, let's just breathe. It's not easy being green. And sometimes it hasn't always been easy to be a religious scientist when there are so many other things that come up. And yet we stay with what we believe. But that's just one little example. There's marginalized people worldwide that have shown us what it means to live in color. And they persevere despite the challenges they face simply for being who they are. Being born with a different skin color, a different hair texture, gender expression, sexual orientation, whatever it is, often these things come with experiences of oppression, that idea of otherness. And so this month, we're honoring the courage of individuals worldwide who have defied cultural norms and expectations to pave the way for equality and inclusion. All month long, we've been drawing inspiration from the iconic TV series In Living Color. There's Reverend Jean's talk, do what you want to do. That was a refrain from the show's theme song. It encourages us to embrace who we are, regardless of whether we're accepted for it. And last week, Reverend Verona's title was It's Never Too Late and Never Too Soon, another line from the theme song. And in recognition of Juneteenth, we highlighted that it's never too late to heal from the global wounds of slavery and institutional racism. And now this week we're talking, we're still together. And this is a catchphrase from a recurring sketch about Mr. and Mrs. Brooks. Now they were a couple who stayed together despite the running joke that they don't get along. And this serves as a reminder to choose vulnerability, forgiveness, and unity, even in the face of challenges. And we have our share of challenges right now. And this is why we remember the affirmation. I embrace the power of vulnerability and connection. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes writes, there is one spirit, one mind, one substance, and that one is manifesting in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. Now, just imagine for a minute how the world might transform if we truly saw that divinity in everyone. And that means in ourselves as well, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. So recognizing our divine connection requires that vulnerability and the courage to support one another as we share our truths. Now, we might not always agree, and each challenge presents us with an opportunity to practice that emotional regulation to heal our own trauma and to use our voices to advocate for ourselves and for others. Different definitions of unity may lead to conflict, but when we have conflict that leads to discussion, that can lead to healing and transformation. See, the science of mind teaches us that there is something within us that has never been affected by fear, uncertainty, comparison. And this is the place, is the home of spirit. Spirit is that individualized expression that resides within us all. This space, well, maybe it's the very birthplace of vulnerability and authenticity. It's that gentle, creative urge that propels us forward into deeper and deeper expressions of who we really are. And as we grow into that, it meets the very essence of the divine. So while we don't always agree, we can strive to practice that unconditional love and acceptance. And those with marginalized identities often face significant challenges due to a lack of understanding and acceptance in the many spaces that they occupy. So engaging in uncomfortable conversations is an opportunity for growth and evolution, even though growth can sometimes be painful. And so let's just breathe for a minute. When we feel resistance to shifting our perspectives, we can see this as an invitation for personal development. And this is the moment which we get to release any urges to argue or defend our beliefs and instead approach the situation with openness. I know you're familiar with the quote of Rumi that says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Now, earlier today, we heard that wonderful Beatles song, With a Little Help from My Friends. And this embodies that message that achieving a task or goal is easier, more fun, through the support and assistance of our friends. And the song focuses on the power of friendship and the importance of having a support system to navigate life's challenges. And in case you haven't noticed, oh, we all get along with a little help from our friends, and we need those friends. The idea is when individuals work together, leveraging their unique strengths and experiences, then we can overcome the challenges and achieve results that are beyond the capability of any single person. Now, we see this right here in this service this morning. We see that each person is contributing in their own way. Now, there are people like me who are standing, well, sitting up in front or on the screen um, that look like that's primary. And there's our dear Reverend Dr. Rainbow, who's contributing in such a magnificent way. And of course, we have Lisa, and today we're seeing Teresa and Ginny, and everybody's participating. But each one of you is actually part of this collective, and we couldn't do it without you. So this idea of teamwork is particularly relevant. And not only the people that are present in this moment, but the people whose shoulders we stand on. Let us remember those who have come before us. Let us remember what it took to get here. Even think about the people who created this thing that we're using called Zoom. Teamwork. It takes teamwork. It takes coming together. Speaking of coming together, I read about a few bananas that were planning a heist. And right before they leap into action, they decide to run through the process again so all bananas know what they're doing. So, firstly, two bananas will be creating a distraction the distance away from the heist. I'm sure you've seen this movie. And then the rest of the bananas will scatter to confuse the enemy and they'll start the heist. And after practicing, and they go through the process a few more times, the bananas are certain that they know what to do. And thus, a couple bananas peel off and the rest of the bananas split. That is teamwork. Now, as Ernest Holmes noted in his Sermon by the Sea, and if you haven't seen this, you can look this up online. It's a sermon that he gave at the summer conference at Silmar, one of the last ones that he did. And in that, he says, true strength comes from being for something. So those with whom we disagree offer us a chance to remember and embody this principle, embracing the opportunity to engage with empathy and understanding. And we're certainly given the opportunity to do that in this very moment. So this week we're invited to recognize the divine essence within everyone we encounter. And when we engage in disagreements, it's easy for our focus to shift to our own frustrations rather than acknowledging the spiritual nature of everyone. And this is the only way that we can come to a total understanding. What if we viewed every challenge as an opportunity to deepen our connection with one another? I remember when I was working in the corporate world, one of the posters for the diversity week was the phrase, none of us is as smart as all of us. And this is attributed to Ken Blanchard in his 1 Minute Manager. Perhaps you've heard of that from some time ago. And it's recognized as a way of expressing the power of teamwork and collaboration. And he used this quote in his books and presentations for leadership and management. And he emphasizes the benefits of diverse skills and perspectives coming together in a team environment. And he was really working with teams and how you can create greater success through collective intelligent combined effort. Because believe it or not, there's things that I don't know and things that you know that I might need. And so we have to do this as a team. And oh, I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I participated in a team building exercise. And well, you might know the one. Here's the scenario. You've chartered a yacht with three friends for the holiday trip of a lifetime across the Atlantic. And because none of you have any previous sailing experience, you've hired an experienced skipper and a two-person crew. Now, unfortunately, mid-Atlantic, a fierce fire breaks out in the ship's galley, and the skipper and the crew have been lost while trying to fight the blaze. And the yacht is destroyed, and it's slowly sinking. And your best guess is that you're hundreds of miles away from the nearest land, and you and your friends have managed to save 14 items undamaged and intact after the fire. And in addition, you have salvaged a 4-man rubber life raft and a box of matches. And your task is to rank the items that you have in terms of importance for you as you wait to be rescued. Now, the first time I played this game, I went through it the first time, and as an individual picked out those things that I thought were the most important. And then the next part of the exercise is, okay, get together with a team and decide what the team ranking is. Now, the first time I played, I convinced everybody to go along with my choices. And I'm afraid I didn't really listen to theirs. Maybe I discounted it a little bit. Maybe I argued more for mine. I don't know. As it turned out, the team actually would have ranked higher if I had accepted a little help from my friends. So I learned something there. Now, what got in my way? Well, fear, uncertainty, comparison that kept me from being more vulnerable. So, and that's not so much something to push against, but an opportunity to lean into. So it's through that understanding that I came to be, I don't know if you can believe it or not, but a little more ready to listen. I said a little more, and a little more vulnerable. See, this idea of fear, it can be like this huge canyon, and it's experienced in different ways for different people. Fear of what others may think, fear of trying something new, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, and shame and blame. Maybe some places we go in such phase of fear. Now, I could have done that. Could have been, oh my gosh, I blame myself for not allowing other people to listen, to speak their piece, or whatever it happened to be. But what the idea is to learn from this. So this fear can be a helpful emotion, and it sheds light on areas of life that require a closer look. And still, can you believe it? There's still areas that require a closer look, as well as those areas within our communities and societies where changes are needed in order to create that safe space. See, to become vulnerable is to be friends with uncertainty. I love certainty as much as anybody else. And the thought of uncertainty, don't want to go there. Most of us want a plan. I don't know about you, a plan and then a backup plan and then a backup plan for the backup plan. And this can go on endlessly and hamper our willingness to take risks, to be vulnerable. I don't know about you, but I find that true for me. But uncertainty is part of the wholeness of life. And we can meet it with curiosity and then move in ways that work with us and find the truth of who we are. But the awareness, that's the important part. Oh, about uncertainty. You know, rumor got around that there was a bear that kept a list of all the animals he planned to kill. And that got around in the forest, and there was a wolf. And he went to confront the bear, and he said, Bear, do you really keep a list of all the animals you plan to kill? I do, said the bear. And is my name on it? Asked the wolf. It is, the bear growled. The following morning, the wolf was found dead on the forest floor. And the fox came later that day to confront the bear. He said, Bear, do you really keep a list of all the animals you plan to kill? I do, said the bear. And is my name on it? She asked. It is, said the bear. And the following morning, Fox's mangled remains were found lying on the forest floor. And that day, the rabbit decided to confront the bear. He said, Bear, do you really keep a list of all the animals you plan to kill? I do, said the bear. And is my name on it? Asked the rabbit. It is, the bear growled. And can you remove it? Oh, for sure. All we have to do, ask a little help from our friends. Take my name off the list. The Ernest Holmes writes that there is something within you beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feeling. This is the only something that can make you whole. The science of mind teaches us there's something within us that has never been affected by fear, uncertainty, comparison. There is something within us. This place is the home of spirit. It's that gentle place that makes room for fear and uncertainty and meets it with the essence of the divine, with a little help from our friends. Now, the following dialogue was shared by members of the Association of Global New Thought. They returned from an audience they'd had with the Dalai Lama in India. This is several years ago. And the meetings focused on a dialogue among this group of leaders about what they believed were the 5 most important questions to be considered for humankind. So this group from the Association of New Thought asked the Dalai Lama these questions. How do we address the widening gap between rich and poor? How do we protect the earth? How do we educate our children? How do we help Tibet and other oppressed countries and peoples? And how do we bring spirituality, deep caring for each other, through all disciplines? And the Dalai Lama said all the questions fall under the last one, that last question. How do we bring spirituality, deep caring for each other, through all disciplines? He said, if we have true compassion, our children will be educated. We will care for the earth as well as for those who are oppressed or who have not. He asked the group, do you think loving on the planet is increasing or staying the same? His own response was, my experience leads me to believe that love is increasing. And he shared a practice with a group that will increase loving and compassion in the world and asked everyone attending to go home and share it with as many people as possible. And so I'm sharing it with you now. Here are the practices. Spend 5 minutes at the beginning of each day remembering we all want the same thing and that we're all connected. Second, spend 5 minutes cherishing yourself and others. Let go of judgments. Third, breathe in, cherishing yourself, and breathe out, cherishing others. If the faces of people you're having difficulty with appear, cherish them as well. And fourth, during the day, extend that attitude to everyone you meet. We're all the same, and I cherish myself and you. And number 5, maybe the most difficult, stay in the practice, no matter what happens. See, this world that truly works for everyone begins with our collective effort to be open, be honest, to be compassionate, to be willing to accept help, to be willing to give that same help. Because as we meet people, we become part of something bigger, and together we can change the world. So let us commit to this transformative journey and making a space where everyone is welcomed and we come into a deeper understanding and unity. And let's just take that into prayer. Recognizing the one power, the one presence. Recognizing, first of all, that we all want the same thing, that we're all connected. We're connected in this oneness. We're connected in the wholeness, in the holiness of the divine spirit. It is within each and every one of us. No matter what we feel like, no matter what's happened that day, no matter what we expect to happen in the future, or what happened in the past. We're all in that oneness. And let us take a moment to cherish ourselves, loving ourselves so that we can love everyone else. Forgiving ourselves so that we can forgive everyone else. Being present with our own feelings so that we can be present with the feelings of others. And so as we breathe in, cherishing ourselves, and breathing out that same cherish, for each and every other person. Know that we are really cherishing that divine. We are honoring the divine, praising the divine, welcoming in the divine. We're all here together. We're connected. We are that rainbow connection, the dreamers, the lovers, and me. And so in this connection, I know that there is wholeness. Wholeness brings forth healthy bodies, healthy physical life, health in general, health of the planet. Wholeness is absolutely manifesting in the form of prosperity in an abundant universe with more than enough for everyone, more than enough to go around. And so as we give, also we receive. It has first been given unto us, and so we can freely give from our own abundance, an abundance of love, an abundance of time and talent. We give freely. And in this circle, the circulation of prosperity, there is a divine creative energy moving through each and every person, each one contributing in their own way to the prosperity of the planet, to the health of the planet, to the emotional well-being of the planet. And so with creative expression, health, prosperity, love, this is divine connection. We are one in that. We praise this. We give thanks for it. We accept the truth of being one in spirit. And allowing that to be our life today, I simply let go. I release this word into the law that knows exactly what to do and how to do it for the perfect manifestation in divine right order, in perfect right timing. I trust in that with my whole heart, so I can simply let it go. And join me as we affirm, and so it is.